I'm Dr. Jeff Kaplan, and for over 30 years I've traveled the globe from Dubai to Moscow and Johannesburg, from Singapore to Shanghai and Istanbul. I've studied the world's best businesses and the people that run them. But something is very different now. From the boardroom to the break room, there's a growing realization that our relationship with work is broken. But it's not too late. You still have a choice. Hold on to the past and struggle to survive, or join the willing, change, and thrive in the world of tomorrow that's already arrived. So if you're willing to think different, willing to work different, willing to change at the speed of now, then you're willing to win. Welcome, I'm Dr. Jeff Kaplan, and with me, as always, is my friend and co-host, Tara Thomas Getman. Hello, Tara.
Hi, Jeff. A pleasure to be back. Every week, you can catch us multiple ways, whether you're watching the podcast, seeing it when we record it, and then air it live through things like YouTube, other TV and radio outlets. So it's really fun that you are collectively taking a conversation that's going on for decades and now offering it for free to the masses, the Willing to Win movement. We've been talking about what it means to be a part of the Legion, as we call your devotees, if you will, the people that are all a part of what we are all experiencing, and that is that our relationship with work is broken. But when we think of relationships, it reminds me of that old cliche that we've talked about, it's not me, or it's not you, it's me, right? The ultimate
breakup line, right?
Yes. The heartless way to dump somebody is to really use that phrase that's now become cliche. But interestingly, when it comes to Willing to Win, we can flip the script a little bit on that. And in this case, it is you.
Absolutely. When you think about the movement, like you even said, my devotees, it's not me, right? It's not me, it's you. The movement is, all the people that are in the Legion, all the people that are in the Legion. The movement is about them. The movement is for them. We're just trying to use this platform to galvanize that. And then we talked about that, a little bit on our last show on the purpose of the Willing to Win movement is really to help galvanize and clarify and come up with a clear articulation of what this renegotiation is of this next stage of work, what it's going to look like in the future for ourselves, the remainder of our careers, and our children and children's children, because it's very unlikely that we'll get an opportunity to renegotiate at this level in our lifetime again. Which sort of leads us to the topic today, which is, to make sure people understand that for us to be successful, each of the members of the audience that believes in this mission, that may have a stake in it, like they want to understand how to take better charge of their career or build better relationships in their life, or to help their company do better work or have better relationships with their customers. If you've got a stake in the game, well, we want you to be part of the Legion and we want your contributions. So it's not me, it's you. And when you think about success, and we always say that success is simply a series of conversations. Right? That's it. Really simple. Success is a series of conversations, and your inclusion in or exclusion from those conversations determines the pace and trajectory of your career.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it.
Right. And this is the conversation that's going on everywhere, right? We talked about this before. It's a zeitgeist. It's a thing that everybody's talking about, but nobody's giving a name to, or they're naming little slices of it and they're missing the big picture. So this isn't about whether we go back to a physical office. That's not what this is about. This is about the entire nature of work. The entire system that we have grown up in is now up for grabs. And there's a lot more wrong with work than having to go into an office every day and dealing with traffic.
Absolutely.
So that's what this is really all about. And when I think about it, it reminds me, it takes me back to about halfway back to the beginning. About 15 years ago, we created a program to help students take charge of their career. And we called it the Pathway to Success program. We created a little, workbook, and everybody got it. We started though with this idea in Pasadena, California, and there were 8 students that showed up the first day. 8 students. But we had this idea, and we believed that we could create this movement to really help students start to think about their careers differently. The following summer, we had 24,000 in Texas Stadium. So the message, continued to grow and continued to move. But in that first session, I talked to the students about the importance of setting goals and really being able to articulate what it is they want. It's amazing. If we want to achieve something as a Legion, as a group, we have to be really clear about what our goals are, and it's really hard work. I told you before that we've done research into the most successful people in the world, and we found out the single thing that separates them from everybody else is they know what they want, and they're willing to ask for help. Right? It seems really, really simple. And what we did is in that first session, we talked about that concept in a story called My Blue Car. Now, My Blue Car is about that great day when you get to buy a new car. Have you ever experienced that, going out to buy a new car?
Absolutely.
It's awesome, right? You get anything, theoretically. We can't maybe have a Ferrari or, some really expensive car. But theoretically, the world is our oyster, right? We could theoretically have anything we want. We start dreaming about what that car is. And when we start the process, we may not have any idea of what kind of car we want. So we start thinking about, well, I want a sedan, or I want an SUV for the kids, or I want a minivan, or whatever it is. So now you got that shape, and then you think about the color, and you think about all the add-ons and what the wheels look like and what other options you're going to take. And by the time you're done, you've got My Blue Car, right? This car has all the options that are 100% Tara Thomas Getman. Right? This is the Terrace Thomas Getman Mobile, right? And it's perfect for you. And so you've got this blue car, you negotiate for it, and you drive off the lot. Two things happen. The first is your car's worth 40% less than it was when it was still on the lot. It depreciates, right? But the second thing is, right, this car that you didn't know about, that you picked all these things to make it just so, that make it absolutely your vehicle. This car that's absolutely uniquely you come out of that parking lot and you look to your left, and there's one that looks just like it, trolling down the street. Absolutely. You look to your right and you see one. You get home to your neighborhood and you realize your neighbor 3 doors down had that car. You didn't even notice it. And so does your neighbor on the other side. It's like every other car is that. And that's exactly how opportunity is. We may think that we don't have opportunities, but what we don't have is a description of what it is we want. And we haven't shared that description with others so that it becomes the blue car that everybody sees on the street. And then anybody that cares enough about you to know what it is that you want, that remembers that and is willing to act on your behalf when they're not around, they can go out in the world and start acting on your behalf, which is really an exciting concept. So the blue car concept is the commitment that I'm going to share with the world what my dreams are, and I believe that the world is going to come back with more opportunities for me than if I kept that a secret.
Here's the crazy thing. You stayed in touch with one of the participants in that program. And the fact that we caught up with him today, it is amazing to see how he was able to take that My Blue Car lesson and apply it directly to his career pursuits that have helped shaped him and the trajectory of where he went from there, simply from being able to, as you so simply put it, identifying what is that goal or dream and what are the necessary steps to take to make it happen.
Absolutely. And I told you the backstory about the pathways to success and how we started with 8 people. He was one of those 8 people. He came and he was so shy. I never thought I'd get a word out of him. But the second weekend, we did this for 4 weekends or 5 weekends in a row. The second weekend he came back to the session. It was a full day session. He didn't come alone. He brought his wife and his parents, because we say that if you're going to be successful, you need to start thinking about your personal board of directors. Who are the people that are going to be there to support you, and who are the ones that are going to be a good enough friend to tell you shouldn't do that, shouldn't act that way, don't wear that dress, don't do this thing, right? To protect us from making mistakes and give us feedback about our ideas. So he took that to heart and he brought him with him to the next session. And his little part of the room continued to grow and grow until the end of the session. He had 2 tables that were all his support group and other people he thought should share in the message. But the really cool thing was, because that's cool for me and I'm excited that he had value. But what shows the real value, the real outcome, is a few months later I get a call from him and he says, Jeff, why don't you check out this YouTube link? And in this YouTube link, he actually took the concept of My Blue Car and he brought it to a drug court rehabilitation program where he worked with offenders, drug and alcohol offenders, to help them avoid prison time by trying to turn their life around.
Wow.
And here he is showing up in his My Blue Car t-shirt that he earned at our session. Let's take a listen and we'll talk about it on the other side.
There's a shirt and it says, "Can you help me?" Okay? Can you help me? Right? And on the back it says, "Find my blue car." What do you think that means? Okay? I just asked you about this, our natural tendency as humans to want to help each other. Right? And the question that when someone asks you is, "Can you help me?" Right? And the person will say, What can I help you with?" Well, in the back it says, "Find my blue car." Right? The significance of a blue car to me and what it values to me is a goal. Everyone here understand what a goal is? A goal is something that you want, something that you like to achieve, some place that you want to go, right? And if you have a clear goal, right, a nice focused goal, right, then you can ask for help. You see, if everyone in this room has a goal, and then everyone told each person what their goal was, there may be somebody on this side of the room that might be able to help you achieve that goal. They might not, in one simple matter, might be able to direct you, "Hey, you know what? I understand what it is that you need to do that. But I know this guy that if you talk to him, he knows all about that." And lead you into the right place. You see what I'm saying? So if you have a clear goal, then you can ask for help. You know? This shirt works. I love this shirt because the reason it's funny, but I wore this shirt. I got thrown into a project and didn't know anybody in the group. Had no clue where I was. They just gave me a goal, saying, "Urban, I want you to go do this." I said, "Okay." Don't know anybody. So the second day after they told me to go there, I wore a shirt to work. And everyone stopped and asked me, "What does that shirt mean?" I told them what the shirt means. Told them what my goals were. They in turn told me what they do at the job site, right? And what they can do to help me. And I said, great. So now I didn't know anybody. I went from knowing nobody to knowing everybody within one day. Everybody I needed to know to get what I wanted to get done was right there helping me just because I wore this shirt, asking to.
So, Urban, we are so excited that you were able to take time to join us to just update us on where you are today. How did My Blue Car change your life and shape, you and your career moving forward?
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I mean, I do almost anything for Jeff when he calls. And this interview is a blessing. And My Blue Car has affected my life greatly and gotten me to where I'm at today. So currently I'm in Egypt after spending 6 years in Saudi Arabia. And then before that, I was 25 years in California. I had a job there. And when I first met Jeff was at my graduation for University of Phoenix. He had sent a book in the mail about Who Got Your Back. That he's done in one of his previous books that he's done. And we was all wondering where this book come from. So we got the book and Jeff was a guest speaker and it was a big surprise. And then it motivated me really, really much from seeing his speech then. And he gave some class or clinic or workshop the next day in the same arena. And I went because I was that excited from his speech. And that's when I started hearing about Jeff's concepts of work relationships and whatnot. And then he gave a My Blue Car seminar later and gave T-shirts. And that T-shirt, there was so much information. It was hard to understand, but it was two memorable things that got me going, and I learned more and more about My Blue Car. The first thing he said is, as human beings, our nature is to help. And if that's our first reaction when anybody asks you to help. And that's part of what Blue Card meant to me, was asking for help. And when I went to work and I had a new project, I put the shirt on that he gave me. It says, "Can you help me?" And on the back it said "My Blue Card." So I wore this shirt to work, and it was a new project. No one knew me. I didn't know anybody, but everyone was looking at this shirt as I was walking around to just get coffee or water, or just to talk to the few people that I did know. People just started stopping me and say, "Hey, what does this shirt mean?" And I said, "It says, can you help me?" He said, "Well, help you do what?" "Well, I need to find my blue card." And they said, "Well, what's your blue card? What is your blue card? What do you mean by that?" "Well, this is the project I'm working with, and this is what I'm doing. And, I'm new here, and I don't know who to talk to and where I need to go." And people just opened up and started just helping me, showing me where to go, telling me who to talk to. Each person that I made so many contacts that within less than 2 or 3 days, I was running almost at 100% doing my project, because I met everybody I needed to meet just wearing this T-shirt. And, that's not even understanding the concept fully at that time. But now I understand the concept more fully of, can you help me find my blue card? And it just helps me greatly. And I teach it to my children. I teach it to everyone that I'm training. I'm training anyone around me. I'm always talking about it. Hey, you need to learn the concept of help. But I don't say blue card anymore. I just say you need to learn the concept of asking help. Asking for help is the most powerful word, I feel, in the English language or any language. No matter what language you speak in, if you ask for help, people will help you, because that's their first instinct. So I generally always start a conversation when I call somebody. And I usually ask them, "Hey, because I work in the Middle East, I say, "Hey, Mohammed, I need your help with something. You willing to help me?" And they say, "Sure, Urban, what do you need?" And then I tell them, and they go out of their way to help me.
I love that. It's amazing how it truly informed the way that you approach work relationships moving forward, and obviously has garnered much success for you. We should mention you're a native of California, and you have been working in the Middle East for quite some time, 6 years in, you said, Saudi Arabia, and currently you're coming to us from Cairo, Egypt. So the question I have to ask then is, why should other people employ these same strategies? How can asking for help, opening up to others, seeking out those who can assist us in achieving our goals, how can that truly make a difference, and why is it worth pursuing?
So the number one, the main reason you want to use these acts for help is because you can't do anything by yourself. You can't lift a stone with one finger, but you can use it with a whole hand. So the more people you tell about what your goals are, you tell your wife, you tell your family, you tell your coworkers, you tell your friends. I've learned, though, from one of Jeff's seminars, you're only one person away from the person you need to know to get you where you need to be. So if you don't know how to ask for help, and you don't know how to explain your goals to people, then you can't get the help you need to get you where you need to be, because you're only one person away. And I learned that a long time ago. I've said to so many people what my goals are, even the small ones, the little ones, the big ones. Me here being in the Middle East was one of those outline of goals that I had. And I said something to one person one time, and then next thing you know, I got a interview, and then off I went. I'm in the Middle East. So
it's amazing. It's amazing that you put your goals, your dreams into action, so to speak, by sharing that vision with others. And I have to ask, tell us about your work. What has your career in the Middle East involved? What are you doing?
Well, my career is in oil refinery. I started in California as a general operator, but now I'm a manager here of a refinery. So I started out as a normal person and just started setting my goals and growing and getting my education, and then I became a really good specialist in what I do. And Saudi Arabia, I had an opportunity to go and and train these specialists, change what and train people on what I do. And in the oil refining business, it's a pretty lucrative position, what I'm doing. And a lot of the people, when I went to Saudi Arabia, it was more about of training the locals about how to understand and do what I do. And it's the same thing here in Egypt. My focus is training the people, but I train them, especially the ones that are in leadership positions, how to ask for help and how to get people to help them, how to talk to people, how to gain those relationships. And so the people that I trained in Saudi Arabia, after I left, they all got promoted very quickly. And it was quite interesting. So, my skill set is mainly about training and teaching. So since my skill set right now is training and teaching, it's less on what I'm doing with the process of the refinery, but more on teaching the people skills of how to manage, how to coordinate, how to organize, who to talk to, how to talk to the people to get them to help you. So that's the main thing I've been using all my blue card techniques since I learned them, and they're still with me today, even in my current position.
Well, we just cannot thank you enough for giving your time to share your insights and how My Blue Car has impacted your life for decades, and clearly the lives of so many others that you're choosing to help and pour into. So thank you so much to Urban Show. We know that you are willing to win, and we're so excited that you have helped others do the same. So take care.
Okay.
That is amazing. And there are thousands of Urbans out there. There are thousands of stories that we want to hear about. And that's where you come in. You can check out our website, willingtowin.org, and contribute to the conversation. Be a part of the Legion. You can listen, read more about the movement, and like Urban, take that next step to get involved.
Awesome. Absolutely. And I also want to take this moment really quickly to thank a couple of our sponsors. We'd like to thank the Joint Chiropractic. They have been a great sponsor, great supporter of Willing to Win from the very beginning. And I guess I'm a little bit, prejudiced toward them because the second I heard about this place, I'm like, I want to go get an adjustment. Because it's not like the medical adjustments, it's not like x-rays and all that stuff. So if you've been in an accident, you still need to go to your traditional, chiropractor. But this place is where you go every week for people like me that really like to get that adjustment and keep fit.
It's a proactive way to keep your body healthy.
Absolutely. And want to also thank Great Clips. Great Clips gives great haircuts around the country, and probably everybody's had a chance to see one. If you haven't had a chance to experience Great Clips for yourself, do it. It will be great.
Yeah, you download the app and then it shows you from your location the Great Clips nearest you, and you can make an appointment right there online. And they'll tell you what time to show up so you don't have to wait to get your haircut or your trim. It's a great service, especially for families like me who have young children.
It's a Great Clips, and it's going to be great. So thank you for those sponsors. We greatly appreciate your support.
Every week, we like to do a segment called The Uplift, where Jeff really shines some light on some of the uplifting elements of the Willing to Win movement that we can apply right now to our lives. So tell us how this interesting book project came about that is this week's Uplift.
Yeah, I got to tell you, one of the things that we like doing in the Willing to Win activities and our sessions when we work with folks is we like to challenge them to do something that they don't think they could ever do. Right? We've all experienced, the normal progression in life as you age, right? You go from grade school to junior high or junior high to high school to college. And those first few days where you feel like you don't belong and there's no way you're going to make it here. And then after a while, it's sort of like, oh, this is old hat. I'm ready for the next challenge, right? But it's really hard other than those things that are sort of programmed. You have to do that. It's not like they're giving you a choice to go from grade school to middle school. It's sort of like ordained. Right? But there are other choices in your life where you could try things and do things you never thought you could do. But unless you challenge yourself, you may never get someone to come and challenge you. So we were doing Pathways to Success in the colleges for years, and then people said, oh, you should bring it to younger kids. And so we started doing, high schools and going out talking to high schoolers about how could you start to develop your career, now, earlier the better. And then we got invited to come into a grade school. And for me, it was just a parent-teacher, like a teacher's day where the parent says what they do for a career,
Sure.
like career day. And so I came in to talk to the kids about, what they wanted to do when they grew up. And for the most part, they hadn't decided yet. That's not a surprise. We get the same answer from college seniors, and we get the same
Right.
answer sometimes from people who've been in the workforce for a decade, right? Not really sure what I want to do when I grow up. So that wasn't a surprise. But when we asked the question, what do you think that you could do in your career, there really weren't many answers. And the answers that came were pretty constrained. It wasn't like when I was a kid, it's like, well, I'm going to be a baseball player and then, of course, an astronaut. I'm not sure which order. I might do both, off season kind of thing, astronaut. Right? and so, but I wasn't hearing that, right? And so I knew that my profession as a writer is something that may seem like it's out of reach for a young person who's never tried to write before. But that's the power of Willing to Win, because Willing to Win says, okay, they may not be able to write a book right now, but what could we do together? Right? If you got a piece of a message or a piece of an idea and you put together with somebody else's piece of a message or piece of an idea, before you know it, you've got, an articulation of something great
Yes.
by working together. So we created a little book. I told them that if they went out and they did drawings and created stories, I would put together a book that together the class would create, and we called it Project 4, 5, and 6. And the whole idea was to share in pictures and stories the notion of what the 6th grade experience was like. So when they left, these books would be left on the table for the new 4th and 5th graders that would be coming
so cool.
into the room. Sort of like a message to the next
Right.
generation. And so they did these great pictures, and next to the pictures, we went ahead and did a series of little poems. So here's one of them I'll just share with you, and it says, step right up and take a reading. For going into 5th graders, this book is all you'll be needing. Gather 1, gather 2, or some 3 of you mix as we tell the telling of Project 4, 5, and 6.
That's really neat, really special.
It was amazing. Not only, and you can see, and if you're listening on the podcast, we'll have to suffice with the descriptions we're giving you, and hopefully those convey the beauty of this book and all its pictures. Or if you happen to catch us online for the video, you'll be able to see those pictures for yourself, and you'll realize how great these kids did and what an amazing story they left. Each of these pictures was about an experience they had so that the next group would not be afraid when they faced that experience, that this is why they were going to, think about
It's the ultimate in collaboration, and that's where we need you to come in. We need you to have the courage to tell someone your dream, and we would love to hear about it. That one person in your life that you can reach out to and really put it into words, give it voice, make it come alive. It worked for Urban, and it can work for you.
Absolutely, and we're still, I want to thank you again, Urban, for being a part of the show. That was a great interview. Your story is a great story, and you are an exceptional human being that's a perfect example of what Willing to Win and the Legion is all about.
Join the Legion. Go to willingtowin.org. And we should say, for those of you listening, it's willing, the number 2, willingtowin.org to be a part of the movement. Thanks again to our sponsors, the Joint Chiropractic, great clips, and all of the Legion that are going to lend their voices to our future broadcasts.
Absolutely. We invite you, in any way that you can participate. If you want to interview someone else, if you see a video on, Instagram or TikTok, and you think that it would be great content here, if you read an article that you think would be appropriate, all of your contributions are welcome as we build this great movement.
And we can't say goodbye without giving some shout outs, if that's I don't know if people say shout outs. My kids would say that I'm old saying the word shout outs to our correspondent and one of our writers and producers, Alyssa Nolte, Emily Hammer, thanks to her for research. Mike Carlo and Deb Neerman are friends at Mud, Floor, and Studio Management that is just superb. Susan Langman handles graphics and still photography. And a lighting shout out to Deb, Mike, and Sheila Kaplan. Also, Miss Kaplan doing makeup and hair, and then our post-production team, the Mud advertising team, and Brendan Haggerty, I'll mention him in particular. Thanks to the entire team for help making Willing to Win happen each week.
It takes a legion.
We'll see you next week.